Thanks for tuning in to VGAPR Garage. Today we're going to be working on a 2005 Jeep. Well, it's a Grand Cherokee, doesn't say anywhere, but Laredo 4x4. So I'm hoping you can hear this. Don't mind the ABS and the traction light. That'll be saved for another video. But if you can see, I'm at 50 miles an hour at over 14 or 1500 RPMs, and you should be able to hear a bit of a rubbing noise. That's the engine right there, but there's a grinding noise, and if you watch, speed goes down very quickly, RPMs are high. I'll go down. So hopefully you can hear that, and that is the driver side front bearing. So as you heard in the clip before, the issue with this Jeep is the front driver side bearing. So let's go ahead and jack up the vehicle and set it on a jack stand. Let's go ahead and remove the wheel. Lug nut size is a 13/16. So let's go ahead and remove the CV or wheel nut. Not wheel nut, but CV shaft nut. I know it has another name. But I'm using an impact tool. If you don't have an impact, you're trying to do it by hand, you can simply apply the brake fully with the vehicle off, and that should be enough to stick it and use a breaker bar. So there we go, put that nut in our magnetic bin. Now, to make this job easier, because we have to remove the caliper and the rotor, I'm going to go ahead and turn the wheel so the caliper is facing this way out. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. You all get to watch me do it. Hopefully you can hear me do it as well. To remove the caliper, you're going to use the same size socket that you did to remove the wheel studs. They might be hard to see, there they are, but we're going to move them here. Don't need to mess with these. It's two back here. Go ahead. There's one. Put it in your magnetic bin. You don't want to lose it. And then there's two. So the caliper free from the rotor, or unbolted from the steering knuckle, just take a pry bar or a flathead with your hand underneath the brake and just peel it back. That's very, very good. And then simply take the whole assembly and either put it on a box, or I'm going to put it up in here, being careful not to damage the CV boat. So, if your vehicle is equipped, which this vehicle is, you're going to have a rubber O-ring here that has to be removed or the rotor won't come off. Some may not have it, but this is my parents' Jeep, and I maintain it to the best of my abilities. So here you go, just pull that off and keep it, and then the rotor will, ease off. Let's go ahead and back you guys out. And I actually changed the caliper to go on some wood blocks because I have to remove the steering knuckle. Simply pull the rotor off, put it in a safe place, don't put it in water or anything like that. So here's our prize. This is the hub assembly. So before we start trying to take the hub out, the new hub comes with an ABS sensor. So up here in on the inner liner, you have your connection for the ABS sensor. Let's go ahead, and there's a security clip or whatever they like to call it that Chrysler uses, and I don't think it's just a simply pull down. I know there's like a tab or something that's got to be pushed. And oh yeah, it's up top. The tab's up here. Just push the tab and go ahead and pull it out. What sucks is many of you have probably seen the ABS sensor video, and these are relatively new. So I actually think I'm going to take it out of the hub and keep it just in case this one fails. So I'm looking for a tool. There it is. So because this is pushed in with like a Christmas tree, got my awesome new, hopefully you can see that, Tekton new panel removal tool. I'm very happy about it. I'll put a description where to get it. So there, now that's hanging off. There's some more lines. There's this one right here, but these are just little clicks, or they're not like clicks, but they hold it in. So all you have to do is, man, I put down tool saying can't find it. It's very hot today. It's probably why. I want to give you guys the ability to see. You can just, they just open right up, or they should open right up. Making me look like a fool, aren't you now? There you go. So it does open right up. Take it out. And then there's some more. So there's one right there, right directly behind the strut, and that just pops right out. And then there's one that's zip tied. Let me see if I can show you without having to completely restart the camera. I can't. But anyways, there's one directly right behind the strut. Alright, so actually to remove the hub, I'm not going to film from behind because I just don't want to. So the hub is held in 3 places. There's going to be one here, there's one up top, focus, yep, and then there's basically one on the other side. So you can see the bolt right there. The other one's going to be on the inside, and then there's going to be one on the other side. The best way is to take a breaker bar, loosen them up. You don't have to actually pull the CV shaft out, which is pretty cool because they're right there, but use a breaker bar to break them free first. I'm sure you're all dying to know they are 15 millimeter. So if you're having a hard time getting them off, give it a little bit of persuasion with a hammer. Well, that one's free. Go to the one on the inside. It's completely visible. It's not hard to get to. There we go. Yeah. Do that again. Sorry about the back of my head, guys. There we go. Now what you want to do is not lose your socket. Go ahead and turn the wheel all the way in the opposite direction. And go ahead and get the last one. Can I still see? Yeah, you can. Easy way to do it is get it towards the bottom and then hammer it up. You don't need to see that. There we go, cracked free. There we go. So now, go ahead, get my impact gun. Hopefully this one can do it. On reverse. No, not enough power out of that. So, let's actually grab a hand tool. In the loosen direction. Wow, these are in really bad shape. Yeah, it looks like it might be loose enough now to use the impact. And there we go. Yep, they're rusty. Go ahead and turn the wheel in the other direction so you can get the other two. Where did I put my 18? Oh, it's on the impact gun. Yeah. Head in. Yeah, what happened here? Oh, I got wrong way. One of those days for me. Yeah, the impact gun's gonna be able to take that one out now. Get to the top one. And the impact gun can finish that up. Alright. There's that one. And they're all the same length, so you don't have to worry about anything. Alright. So, this bearing's damaged, so it doesn't matter, but it's not going to just pop right out. So take a hammer. There we go. CV shaft. Remember that you have your ABS sensor that's attached to this thing right here. That will have to go back on. The ABS sensor, be careful with it. I mean, if it's good, be careful with it. It's good to keep another one because I couldn't find bearings without ABS sensors. So go ahead and keep it. Take your little dust shield and pull it through. Let's go ahead and look at parts now. Alright guys, so here's the new bearing versus the old. You want to make sure that your ABS connectors are the same, which they are. You want to make sure that your bolt pattern is the same for the back, which they are. The next thing is, and go ahead and take a look at, and hopefully you can hear it, is this bearing is very hard to turn. Now I'll put it next to the microphone. So that's the sound that this one makes, which is pretty bad, versus the new one, which I'll put next to the camera. No noise at all. It's still tough to move, which is fine. It's just, what was I gonna say? There's no noise. I mean, this was making an absolutely horrible noise. Okay, so now what we want to do is start reassembly. Remember that the dust shield only goes on one way, which is this way. Let's go ahead and feed the ABS line through, or we'll start to feed it through. And what will help you out, a little dust in there, a little bit of dirt in there, is to take your 3 bolts and just put them in the holes. On shaft a lot of the way a little bit so I can get this in. Come on, just a little bit, so that you can begin to screw them in a little bit easier. So the ABS fed through slightly, ABS line fed through slightly. And go ahead and put this on. It's only going to go on one way. Oh, the other thing is, might as well put your ABS sensor up through here too, to make it easier. That's where it's got to go. You don't have to worry about taking any clips off of your old one, because the new one has all the clips on it. Come on. Get up there. Trying to do all this one-handed. It's been a while since I've even had to do a bearing. Was surprised that the bearing was even bad. I took my mom to a doctor's appointment, and because she can get in and out of her Jeep easier than my Mustang, and could hear the bearing. It was making a horrible amount of noise. So for all of you that are out there and you talk about the rust on this Jeep, there's a couple of videos that I did my parents actually aren't doing too well health-wise. So they have lots of doctor's appointments they have to go to. So I tend to buy parts for them, and I install them, of course, for free. They're my parents. I don't charge them. I love them, and I live 2 hours away, so they have to be able to get to their appointments and everything. So I buy them the parts. So rust is the last of their concern. My concern, our first concern, is their health. So if my parents were in fantastic health, I'd be, you know, getting all the rust off this vehicle because I'd have more money to spend on it, and they'd have more money to spend on it. But the whole point of the vehicle is making it so they can go to their doctor's appointments. So next step is you want to turn the wheel straight. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And with the wheel straight, it'll give you complete access to all the bolts. So my head might be in the way. I apologize. You guys want to see the repair, not the back of my head. All right. Let's try and get threads on there. There we go. Now it's in. And then the top one. That one's in, and the bottom one. That one's in. So let's go ahead and take my impact gun. How well can you guys see? I think you guys can see pretty good. You don't need to see behind, you guys have already seen it. Let's go ahead and tighten these down if I can. Trying to be a little difficult, isn't it? The other one's just gonna do this. The one up top. You want to make sure these are on there nice and tight. I wouldn't recommend just using the impact gun on these. I would really recommend you know, either doing the specified torque on this, oops, or a breaker bar, which is what I'm going to do on all of these. You really want to make sure that all of these are on there nice and tight. Basically, this is what's holding the tire. We don't want to have anything bad happen. And because this is my parents' vehicle, I really don't want anything bad happening. I gotta turn the wheel a little bit more. So basically, tighten those down. You don't need to watch me. So while off camera, I you know, tightened those 15mm bolts up real tight with a breaker bar to the point where like they don't move. Eventually, they just stop. And I trust that. So let's go ahead and put this axle nut on forward. Alright, the next thing that you can do, well, what I'll do is I'm actually going to put the rotor on and everything. Well, actually, you guys can watch me do that. But first, since this is new, and I need to put my gloves on, I had to take a break because the battery in the camera died. This is going to be a longer video than it should be because I'm talking. So maybe you guys enjoyed it if I talk. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section if you like hearing me talk about stuff rather than just, you know, of course doing the repair video, but also talking a little bit about myself. So anyways, the best thing in the world, which is also the most messy, anti-seize, put it on the hub face. Make sure not to get it on the, you know, the studs, the outer bit of it, right here. But I mean, what really holds this rotor on is really that rubber O-ring. Shouldn't have to worry too much. And this actually still has some oil on it. But, there we go. Make sure to wipe your hands off. You don't want to get anti-seize on your hands, or not on your hands. You're going to get it on your hands. You're going to get everywhere, but you're going to want to try and not get it on your rotor. Let's go ahead and pick up the rotor. Put the rotor on there. Don't forget your rubber ring. And I guess you don't need it, but like I said, this is my parents' Jeep. I try to keep it in the best shape possible. So there. Now let's go ahead and put the caliper on. Alright, so let's go ahead and route the ABS sensor before we put the caliper back on. One side goes right in here. This one goes, alright, I don't, maybe it's the opposite direction. I always forget. So let's try pushing it through or using the tool. This tool. I think that this might be, yeah, this way. This goes this way, yep. Then you've got one that goes behind this, what is it called? Inside the shock. There's a little spot for it. Oh yeah, you might be doing it. I want to say it goes never as easy as you think it would be. Let's try this first. Let's click it in here. Only goes in one way. Hopefully I have the camera up that high. Come on, go in. Don't tell me you're a different one, that would be frustrating. Or maybe that's as far as it goes. Maybe this is the ABS issues. It's almost like it doesn't want to go in. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Well, this can come out there. So I know that this at least goes there. This one goes here. It's maybe a little tight. And this, yeah, it does go like this. I have it right. There we go. But the one thing I'm confused about is, oh, glad we're saving that ABS because looks like the prong in this is a little buggered up. So let's be careful. There we go. And then push the lock thing down. That's already down. And then put it in the hole. So there, hopefully that recorded. It did. Good. Let's put the caliper on. Alright, so grab your two caliper bracket bolts and your caliper. I did a little service on it, make sure everything was in good working order on it. Grease some stuff up. And get it on there. It might be a little difficult if you did a service like I did. There we go. Should be able to not be difficult for me. And just go on. There we go. Find your holes. They're back there. There's one. And all you have to do is line it up. Find the top one. Same thing, just line it up. You'll know when you're in there. You can only go in one way. There's one. Doing this without looking, I'm magic. Where are you? You're right there. There you are. Come on, find it. There we go. Nope, that isn't it. No, you wanna know what it was? It was called undoing it. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully the battery doesn't die. There it is. So we're in. Now let's try doing this thing called, it's weird because it says I'm on Titan. There's one. And then there's two, because let's move these wood bricks out of the way. considering what this is, what it goes to, grab your breaker bar and just absolutely make sure that it's tight. These bolts are not found at a dealer. They're like, you gotta order them, so you want to make sure that they're on there. Also, it's your car, your customer's car, so you want to make sure that everything is in perfect working order when you're all done. All right, now just to confirm that the wheel nut or the axle nuts on there tight, just do that. Go ahead and put your wheel back on. All right, guys, we're back in the vehicle. The view doesn't really matter because I'm driving and I don't want the police to see that I have a camera in my hand. So hopefully you can hear. I'll be quiet. There's no sound or like bearing sound, so I'll be quiet now. So hopefully you guys were able to hear that, and this video was helpful to you. If you guys have any questions, you know, as always, put them in the comment section, and I try to get back to everyone who comments or asks the questions. Put your tools away, clean them. Thanks for watching VGAPR Garage. See you guys next time. Bye.